Welcome in, guys. Thank you very much for joining me today. Hope you all are well and hope you had a good NFL Week 6 weekend like I did. So, today we're going to talk about NFL Week 6 action. We're going to talk about most of the games, see which teams won, which teams played well, which players stood out, and just my overall take on the action from the weekend. So, some topics we're going to go over. We're going to talk about the Thursday night football game where Jackson Dart and the New York Giants got a big win over Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. We're going to talk about Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers playing well and getting a big win. Also, Baker Mayfield with the Tampa Bay Bucks continues his MVP play, and the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes, they look like the best team in the NFL again. So, a lot of amazing action and games happened in the NFL over the weekend. So, we're going to jump into all of that. Before we do get started, I would like to mention that on my YouTube channel, I create content about money, sports, and personal topics with the goal of bringing value to other people's lives. So if you guys find value in this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel so that I can continue making these videos. All right, let's jump into NFL Week 6. All right, guys. So things kicked off on Thursday with Thursday night football, and we had a really good matchup. It was the Philadelphia Eagles versus the New York Giants. So we had Jalen Hurts of the Eagles go against Jackson Dart of the Giants. Super Bowl winning quarterback versus rookie quarterback. So it was definitely an intriguing game to watch, and it definitely did not disappoint. So in this one, we had a big upset. The Giants and Jackson Dart get a big win, 34-17 over Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. And I don't think a lot of people were expecting this result, but it it happened. So let's take a look at some of the game leaders in this one. Philadelphia Eagles, Jalen Hurts, 24 for 33, 283 yards, one touchdown, one interception. Saquon Barkley had 58 yards rushing, and Dallas Goedert had 110 yards receiving with a touchdown. So a solid game by the Eagles offense, but nothing too great in this one. For the Giants, Jackson Dart, 17 for 25, 195 yards, one touchdown. Running back Scatterbo had 98 yards rushing with three touchdowns, so he had an amazing game. And then Robinson had 84 yards receiving with one touchdown. So the Eagles offense, again, it was okay, but they're still not getting their offense into full gear, and they're still not utilizing AJ Brown as they should. For the Giants, Jackson Dart had a solid game. Also, their rookie running back Scatterbo had an amazing game with three touchdowns. So, very impressive game here by the Giants. So, going into this game, I think a lot of people thought that the Eagles were going to easily beat the Giants just because the Eagles are considered one of the best teams this year and the Giants are considered one of the worst. But things change week to week in the NFL. So in this one, I mean, the Eagles, again, they struggled on offense. Um, their passing game is just not what it should be. A.J. Brown is still not being utilized like he should be. And all of that would be fine if they had like a very good running game with Saquon Barkley. But even Saquon is struggling this season as well. So just a lot of odd things with the Eagles offense, and not sure what the cure is, but they definitely got to get the offense back on track. They'll be fine going forward as long as they do make those changes on the offensive end. So, but that still needs to happen. For the New York Giants, I was really impressed by them and this game. So they have a rookie quarterback, Jackson Dart. They have a rookie running back, Scatterbo, and they have a very good defense. So honestly, I think the Giants have a very bright future if they just continue to build around Jackson Dart and Scatterbo on the offensive end. Their defense, again, is really good. And, you know, things can change very quickly in the NFL. Like just a week or two ago, the Giants looked really bad with Russell Wilson, and it just looked like they were going to have a bad season. But you put in Jackson Dart last couple of games. Um, Scatterbo is playing really well. They got a win. They're 2-4. So if they just get a couple more wins, they'll be at around 500, and we still have a lot of season left to go. So I think the Giants' future looks very bright. I would build around Jackson Dart and Scatterbo. Defense is gonna be good. So I think the Giants might be one of those big surprise teams of the year. And we'll see if Jackson Dart continues to develop and play well. So I think both of these teams are very good, and the Eagles will be in the playoffs, and I think the Giants have a solid chance as well. So we'll see how they look going forward. All right, so we had a game in Miami that went down to the wire, and it was a very entertaining game to watch. So we had the Los Angeles Chargers and Justin Herbert play against Miami Dolphins and Tua Tagovailoa. And in this one, the Chargers squeeze out the win 29-27. They improved to 4-2 on the season, and the Dolphins fall to 1-5. So let's take a look at some of the game leaders in this one. For the Chargers, Justin Herbert, he went 29 for 38, 264 yards with 2 touchdowns. Their running back, Vidal, had 124 yards rushing, and McConkey had 100 yards receiving with 1 touchdown. On the other side, for the Dolphins, Tua went 21 for 32, 205 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. Achane had a good game with 128 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns, and Waddle had 95 yards receiving. So this was a pretty interesting game to watch. A lot of offense in this one. Um, and the running backs played really well. Both had over 100 yards. So definitely a good game to watch. Um, Towards the end of this game, the Dolphins were winning 27-26, and Justin Herbert just puts on his Superman cape and drives the offense down the field. He throws a big pass to McConkey where Herbert was about to get sacked, but he pushed the defender off and was able to escape. He throws the ball to McConkey, who runs down the field and gets in field goal range. So Justin Herbert put on his Superman cape. He made the biggest play of the game when it needed to be made. He got his team into field goal range, and their kicker was able to make the field goal, Cameron Dicker, and they go up 29-27, and that's the game. So I was definitely very impressed by Justin Herbert in this game. He's also an MVP candidate this year, playing very, very well. Probably Justin Herbert and Baker Mayfield, in my book, are the top two candidates for MVP. And he's got his team at 4-2, so the Chargers are sitting pretty well and they're playing well. On the other side, the Dolphins, they're just kind of like, honestly, like a wreck. So, I mean, they were winning this game and they had the chance to win, but like Tua had 3 interceptions again. And I just don't think he's a long-term solution at the quarterback position for the Dolphins. Like he's a solid quarterback, but he's not going to get them where they need to go. So, and also their head coach, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets fired in the coming weeks. I mean, he's been there a long time and he just hasn't really turned things around. So, Dolphins are not going in the right direction. We'll see in the future what happens with their quarterback situation, with their head coach situation, but not a lot of good things to say about the Miami Dolphins at this time. And also Tua, in his post-game press conference, he made some comments about like lack of accountability and just some other issues that he sees with the team. So every year the Dolphins just have like drama and negativity, and I think they need to make some serious changes in their organization. All right. So the game that I was most excited about watching was my team and my favorite player. So the Pittsburgh Steelers and Aaron Rodgers. They went against Cleveland Browns and their rookie quarterback Dylan Gabriel. So in this one, the Steelers get a win 23-9. They improved to 4-1 on the season, and the Browns fall to 1-5. So I'm very happy with this result. Let's take a look at the game leaders on this one. For the Cleveland Browns, Dylan Gabriel, he went 29 for 52, 220 yards, 221 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. For the Steelers, Aaron Rodgers, 21 for 30, 235 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 115.3 quarterback rating. So very, very, very nice game by Rodgers, very efficient, nice and clean game, 2 touchdowns, 0 turnovers. So Rodgers is playing really well. Their running back, Jalen Warren, had 52 yards rushing, and DK Metcalf had 95 yards receiving with 1 touchdown. All right. So let's talk about these teams a little bit more. So for the Cleveland Browns, their rookie quarterback, Dylan Gabriel, got another start. The team traded Joe Flacco a couple weeks ago. So now they're going to be rolling with Dylan Gabriel and potentially Shador Sanders for the rest of the season. So Dylan Gabriel, I mean, he had an okay game in this one, nothing too good. Um, I don't know if he's their solution at the quarterback position. I mean, I like his game, but honestly, he's just a little too short. I feel like that is a serious issue, even though a lot of short quarterbacks have had success, but it's still early. And, we'll see what happens there. I'm hoping that in the coming weeks, the Cleveland Browns, they put in Shador Sanders. I definitely want to see him get some starts with the team. And that way, we'll have a full picture of Dylan Gabriel and Shador Sanders to try to get an idea if one of the two is a long term solution at the quarterback position for the Browns. So that's something I'm definitely keeping my eye on with the Browns. Um, if they get if they get the quarterback position figured out, the Browns have a really good defense with Myles Garrett, so they can definitely have a very bright future um, if they find their quarterback. So the Browns are definitely an interesting team, and the team that I'm rooting for this season, the Pittsburgh Steelers. They played really well in this game. The defense allowed only 9 points, 3 field goals, which is amazing. Jalen Ramsey, he had 2 big sacks. That was very impressive to watch. TJ Watt is playing well, and just the whole defense had a really good game. And then on the offensive end, I love watching Aaron Rodgers play. Like I said, he's my favorite player, even at this age. He he was very efficient, no mistakes. When he needed to make some big plays, he did. He threw 2 touchdowns, one to wide receiver Hayward, the other one was to DK Metcalf, and both of those were very impressive. So I think Aaron Rodgers is exceeding a lot of expectations. I think the Steelers are playing a lot better than a lot of people expected. They're 4-1 on the season. They're in first place in their division. So just after 5 games, things are looking really good for the Steelers. They're going to play the Bengals on Thursday. They should win that game. So they could easily be 5-1. And that would be as good of a start as anybody would have expected for the Steelers. So I'm definitely going to be rooting for Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers. It's still early, so they got to keep this up for the rest of the season. But so far, they look like they're playoff bound. Rodgers is playing really well. So I am very, very excited as a Steelers fan for this season. So the next game we're going to talk about is the game between the Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott versus the Carolina Panthers and Bryce Young. So in this one, the Carolina Panthers squeeze out the win 30-27. They improved to 3-3 on the season, and the Cowboys fall to 2-3-1. So let's take a look at some of the game leaders in this one. So for the Cowboys, Dak Prescott went 25 for 34, 261 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. So another very good game by Dak Prescott. He's been playing like this all season long, and he's also definitely a candidate for MVP along with Justin Herbert, Baker Mayfield, Patrick Mahomes. So very good season by Dak, but his defense just keeps letting him down. As far as receiving, George Pickens, their wide receiver, had a really good game. 9 receptions, 168 yards, 1 touchdown. So with CD Lamb out, George Pickens is getting a lot of targets and he's taking advantage of it. For the Carolina Panthers, Bryce Young, he went 17 for 25, 199 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Their running back Dowdle, who was previously with the Dallas Cowboys, so this was kind of a revenge game for him. He had a really good game, 183 yards rushing, and he also had 56 yards receiving with a touchdown. So a pretty good game by the quarterback Bryce Young, and an amazing game by their running back Dowdle. So in this game, the Dallas Cowboys, I mean, their offense is pretty good with Dak Prescott, and considering that CeeDee Lamb is out, like they're a really good offensive team. Just on the defensive side, they're probably one of the worst, if not the worst team on defense. Every quarterback that plays against them has like an amazing game, like one of the best games of their season or of their career. So all the quarterbacks are just feasting on Dallas's defense. And if they just had like a decent defense, I would be very bullish on the Cowboys since their offense is so good, but I don't think their defense is going to be sustainable going forward. But we'll see if they make some changes there. For the Carolina Panthers, Bryce Young is playing better this season than in previous years, so that's good to see. Also, I thought Carolina Panthers were one of the worst teams in the NFL this season, but as you can see, like they're 3-3 on the season, so they're 500. So they're playing, their record is a lot better than some other teams that are considered, as good teams. So I'm definitely positively surprised by Carolina's record. Um, so we'll see if this is just like temporary or if they're going to continue to be, a solid team going forward. But I don't have a lot of confidence in either of these teams, so I would not be expecting either of these teams to be in the playoffs. The next game we're going to talk about is the matchup between the Los Angeles Rams and the Baltimore Ravens. So this was a game between Matt Stafford of the Rams and Cooper Rush of the Ravens, who's in for the injured Lamar Jackson. So in this one, the Ravens keep losing. They lose 17-3 to the Rams. The Rams improved to 4-2 on the season, and the Ravens fall to 1-5. So let's take a look at some of the game leaders in this one. For the Rams, Matt Stafford went 17 for 26, 181 yards with a touchdown. Kyron Williams had 50 yards rushing with a touchdown, and Tyler Higbee had 40 yards receiving with a touchdown. And for the Ravens, Cooper Rush, he went 11 for 19, 72 yards. He had one interception. And then Tyler Huntley came in. He went 10 for 15, 68 yards. So the Rams had a solid offensive game, and the Ravens had a very bad game. Derrick Henry was the exception. He did have 122 yards rushing, but other than that, not much more from the Ravens offense. So the Rams continue to play well. They're 4-2 on the season. Matt Stafford is looking good. His back issue or injury doesn't seem to be bothering him. He's got a lot of weapons with Devontae Adams, Puka Nakua. So the Rams are going to be one of the best teams, and they currently are one of the best teams in the NFC. So not much more really to say about the Rams. But on the other side, for the Ravens, things are not looking good at all. Lamar Jackson did not play in this game again. The Ravens continue to lose. They're 1-5 on the season. They're in last place in their division. So this is as bad of a start as one could have imagined for the Ravens. But I'm still not going to completely write them off. I mean, if Lamar Jackson gets back, all they need is like a couple wins. Let's say they get 2 wins, they'd be 3-5. And that's not too far off from where the other teams are in their division. So it's looking very, very bad at this point, but things can change very quickly within a few weeks if they stack some wins. Lamar would be back. Derrick Henry would be playing well. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Ravens just get a lot of wins in a row and stack them one right after the other. But they are definitely in a very, very big hole, and we'll see if they can climb out of it. So, next, we're going to talk about my hometown team, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So, in this game, they faced off with the San Francisco 49ers. So we had Baker Mayfield of the Bucks go against Mac Jones of the 49ers, who's still in for the injured Brock Purdy. So this was a pretty good game to watch. Two of the better teams in the NFC. And in this one, the Bucks get the win 30-19. They improved to 5-1 on the season, and the 49ers fall to 4-2. Let's go ahead and take a look at the game leaders in this one. So for the 49ers, Mac Jones, he went 27 for 39, 347 yards, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. So not really sure how to judge that game. That's a lot of yardage, which is very impressive. And he had a good completion percentage, but then 0 touchdowns with 2 interceptions is not good at all. So just kind of an average game by Mac Jones in this one. Their running back, Christian McCaffrey, 54 yards rushing with a touchdown. And their wide receiver, Kendrick Bourne, had another really good game, 5 receptions for 142 yards. So just kind of an okay offensive game by the 49ers. Nothing too bad, nothing too great. On the other side, Baker Mayfield, MVP candidate. He went 17 for 23. That's 74% completion percentage, 256 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, quarterback rating 139. So another amazing game by Baker Mayfield, very efficient, very smooth. Um, he also, like every game, he had some plays where it looked like he was about to get sacked, but then he just kind of scrambles out of there and makes a big play down the field. Um, he threw the ball down the field with some explosive plays. So very, very, very good game by Baker in this one. Their running back White had 65 yards rushing with a touchdown, and wide receiver Johnson had 64 yards receiving with 1 touchdown. So again, this was a game between two of the better teams in the NFC. Um, I know the 49ers had their backup quarterback in, but I don't know if there's much of a difference between Brock Purdy and Mac Jones, to be honest. So it's pretty much like the 49ers had their full lineup. And for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they had like a few different players out. So Mike Evans, wide receiver, was out. Um, Chris Godwin, wide receiver, was also out. Bucky Irving, their running back, was out. So the Bucks played really well on offense and scored 30 points with some of their main offensive stars out of the game. So I think this was very impressive by the Buccaneers. They just keep winning no matter what. Their defense is solid and very good every week and every year. So, yeah, I mean, they're definitely one of the best teams in the NFC. We got the Eagles, who are also one of the best teams in the NFC, the Lions, but both of those teams just lost. Um, the Eagles lost to the Giants. The Lions just lost to the Chiefs. So, yeah, I mean, I think the NFC is wide open. I can definitely see Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers making serious, serious noise in the playoffs once we get there. I can see the Bucks in the Super Bowl. So they just got to keep it going. Baker Mayfield continue to play like an MVP. We're going to get Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and Bucky Irving back from injuries soon. So the Bucks are very, very dangerous and one of the best teams in the NFL. So the most anticipated game of this NFL weekend was the Sunday night football matchup between Detroit Lions and the Kansas City Chiefs. So we had Jared Goff of the Lions go against Patrick Mahomes of the Chiefs. These are two of the, if not the two best teams in the whole NFL. We had two very good head coaches go against each other, Dan Campbell versus Andy Reid. So this might be a Super Bowl preview. So it had a lot of headlines, a lot of interest in this game. And as we can see, The Chiefs were able to get the win 30-17. They improved to 3-3 on the season, so they're at 500 after having a rough start to the season. The Lions are 4-2, so big matchup here, big test for each of these teams. But the Chiefs had a better night on Sunday night. So let's take a look at some of the game leaders in this one. So for the Detroit Lions, Jared Goff, he went 23 for 29, which is really good, almost 80% completion percentage, 203 yards passing. He had 2 touchdowns with 0 interceptions. So another very good game by Jared Goff. As long as he gets protection from his offensive line, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, and he showed that last night on Sunday Night Football. The Lions running back Jahmyr Gibbs, he had 17 carries for 65 yards, and their wide receiver Williams had 6 receptions for 66 yards with a touchdown. So a pretty good offensive game by the Lions. Let's jump over to the Chiefs now, see how they played. So for the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, he went 22 for 30, 257 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 132.2 quarterback rating. So an excellent game by Mahomes. This might be one of his best games of the season so far. Their running back, Isaiah Pacheco, 51 yards rushing, and Travis Kelce had 78 yards receiving. So a lot of the other wide receivers for the Chiefs contributed as well. Juju Smith-Schuster, 57 yards. Hollywood Brown, 45 yards with 2 touchdowns. So I think the Chiefs' offense might be back on track. They looked really good, and they're going to get Rashee Rice, their other star wide receiver, back next game. So I think the Chiefs' offense is going to be in full mode going forward. So just a little bit more about this game. So the Detroit Lions, again, one of the best teams in the NFL, one of the most exciting teams to watch. I love their head coach, Dan Campbell, and how he goes for 4th down a lot. They always have exciting plays. And also, they had an exciting play in this game where they threw a pass at the goal line to Jared Goff, the quarterback. He caught it, and it was initially called a touchdown. But after review, it was an illegal play, so it got called back. But nonetheless, I just love how the Lions, I just love how they go for it on 4th down. I love how they always have like a creative and exciting play in their pocket. Their wide receiver, Amon-Ra St. Brown, is one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. They have 2 very good running backs. And I just think they're a very exciting team to watch. So I was kind of disappointed that they lost in this game, but I think this is just a small bump in the road for them. And they'll be fine going forward. For the Kansas City Chiefs, these first few weeks of the season, they honestly looked bad. A lot of people were doubting them, but just watching this team the last 5, 6 years, you can just never doubt the Chiefs. They're just too good. Um, Whenever you think they're about to have like a bad stretch of games, they always figure it out and they get a big win. So, this was a big win over one of the best teams in the NFL. The Chiefs are back to 500 record at 3-3, so they could easily get on a winning streak and have a very good record in the coming weeks and months. And like I mentioned earlier, Rashee Rice, their wide receiver, is going to be back in the lineup. So I'm telling you, in the NFL, in just a week or two, things change so dramatically. Things looked very, very bad for the Chiefs just like a week or two ago. And now things look very, very good and bright for them. So that's the NFL for you, just changes from week to week. And the final games that we're going to talk about are the two games that are going to be played tonight on Monday Night Football. So we're going to have the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen play the Atlanta Falcons and Michael Penix Jr. And in the second game, we're going to have the Chicago Bears and Caleb Williams play against the Washington Commanders and Jaden Daniels. So, some pretty good games here. It's going to be an exciting night of Monday Night Football. So, let's go ahead and make some predictions on these two games. So, we got in the first one, like I mentioned, Josh Allen versus Michael Penix Jr. So, in this one, the Bills definitely are the favorite. We can see that here on the right, 64% win probability versus 35. So I'm going to agree with that. Um, Josh Allen should have a really good game. He just saw Patrick Mahomes get a big win over the Detroit Lions. So he's got to do the same. So I like the Buffalo Bills in this one over the Atlanta Falcons. And I'll also be rooting for the Bills as well. So let's hope that they get it done. In the other game, we have Caleb Williams versus Jaden Daniels. So this one's kind of hard to predict. Here on the right hand side, win probability 31% Bears, 68% Commanders. So I think I would agree with that. The Commanders should win this one. They're also the home team. The Bears have had issues all season long. So my expectation in this game is that the Washington Commanders and Jaden Daniels will beat Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears. But I will be rooting for Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears just because I like their team better. So I'm hoping for an upset in this one. And we'll see how things shake out on Monday Night Football. All right, guys, before we wrap things up for today, let's go ahead and take a look at the standings in the NFL after week 6. So we still have the Monday Night Football games tonight. So this isn't going to be 100%, but let's just see what things look like as of now. So AFC East, Buffalo Bills 4-1, Patriots 4-2, Miami Dolphins 1-5, New York Jets 0-6. So I feel like this division is easy. The Bills should win it. The Patriots are going to have a chance to make the playoffs. The other two teams are two of the worst teams in the NFL. So the Dolphins and Jets are not going anywhere this season. AFC North, very interesting division. Pittsburgh Steelers, first place, 4-1. Bengals, 2-4. These two teams meet on Thursday Night Football. Third place, Baltimore Ravens, 1-5, and Browns are also 1-5. So I'm very happy that the Steelers are in first place since that's my team. But in this division, Joe Burrow is out for the Bengals. Lamar Jackson has been out for the Ravens. And the Browns just have quarterback issues in general. So I think the Steelers are very lucky that these other teams are having serious issues and that they find themselves in first place. But they took advantage of their games and won. So they deserve to be in first place. But I think the Ravens still have a chance to catch them once Lamar Jackson gets back. AFC South, Colts 5-1, first place. Jags second place, Texans third, and Titans in fourth. Colts having a really good season. Not sure if they're going to be able to maintain this till the end and win the division. The Jags look okay, so they have a chance. The Texans also have a chance if CJ Stroud starts playing well again. Titans are not going anywhere. They're the worst team in this division. AFC West, Chargers looking good. Broncos playing well. Chiefs are back in the mix. Raiders 2-4, so very competitive division. I think the Chiefs are the best team. Chargers are right there. So we'll see who wins this division at the end, Chargers or the Chiefs. Let's jump over to the NFC. In the NFC East, Eagles, first place, Commanders right there, Cowboys, and then Giants. So this is also a very competitive division. The Eagles are not doing very well on offense. Commanders, they have a good quarterback in Jaden Daniels. Cowboys are all over the place. They're hard to predict. The Giants are playing better with Jackson Dart, so I think this division is going to be tougher than we had initially anticipated. NFC North, Packers, Lions, Vikings, and then Bears. This one's also hard to predict. Any of these teams could win the division, but I think the best team is the Detroit Lions, then Packers, and then Vikings and Bears afterwards. NFC South, Tampa Bay Bucks, first place, 5-1. They're the best team in this division by far. Carolina Panthers, second place. They're playing better. They're 500 on the season at 3-3, but I still don't trust them. Falcons in third place and Saints fourth place. NFC West, San Francisco 49ers, Seahawks and Rams, they're all 4-2. Cardinals are 2-4. Yeah, I think the Cardinals are the worst team in this division, as the record indicates. The other three teams, I mean, any of these teams could win the division, so it's honestly hard to predict. But if I had to pick one, I would pick the Rams as the best team. And then the San Francisco 49ers second, Seahawks third, and Cardinals in fourth place. So that is the standings after week 6 of NFL action. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and got some value out of it. If you did, Again, subscribe to my YouTube channel so that I can continue making these videos. And I'll see you guys next time. Take care.